In this part of our discussion, we're going to make a combined 11. So both of you obviously sent in your own combined 11s between Chelsea and Manchester City. So I'm going to share that now and then individually ask you guys to talk me through your team. And then I'm going to let you guys talk to each other and come up with a combined 11 for this Champions League final. Does that sound right?
Sure, definitely.
Sure.
Let's go with it.
Let's start with you, Ritesh. Let's get your team up. Here we are. Your Manchester City versus Chelsea combined 11. Before you start, I want Tanmay's reaction to this team.
Man, I was being respectful towards him. This is kind of very disrespectful to Man City. I'll be honest.
And off camera, Ritesh, what was your views that you were going to put less Manchester City players?
Yeah, so to be honest, I was going to use less Manchester City players. But I was like, let's use a few. I mean, they should not feel bad,
So who would you have taken out and who would you have put in if you had free range?
You talking about my team?
Yeah, your team.
Of course, with De Bruyne out, I would have taken in Christian Pulisic. And with Gundogan and Silva out, I would have taken Kovacevic and I would have taken Jorginho.
Ritesh, Tanmay doesn't look very happy with that 11.
No, I'm saying like only Kante and Chilwell because our left back is not good. So I guess only Kante is the one Chelsea who starts in the City team. Rest of them don't start in the City team. I can definitely show you that. I can guarantee you that.
We'll get to that. Ritesh,
I mean, I don't know if you've noticed this. Okay, we both have kind of used the same tactic. He has only 3 Chelsea players. I have only 3 Man City players.
Yeah. We'll get to his team and your reaction to that also. But let's start with you, of course, Ritesh. Do you want to talk me through why you've picked this particular 11?
Sure. So let's start with the goalkeeper, Eduardo Mendy. He has been excellent ever since his signing. He had some. I mean, he was close to getting a Golden Glove as well. So, despite the fact that he has very less experience, and despite the fact that he was coming from a different league altogether, he's time and again proven that he's one of the main players that Chelsea has. He's one of the main contributors, wherein one of the main reasons that we could come to the finals of Champions League, because playing against Real Madrid was not really easy. That goes without saying. So he's there. And when I talk about the back four, that is James, Rodriguez, Silva, Chilwell, they have been excellent through the entire season. Most importantly, for the Champions League final, they are fit. So they did not have a long time injury, or it's not like they don't have enough practice, or if they have not made up their mind. And I don't have to talk about Chilwell. He has pretty good quality. He has time again proven it. We recently signed him from Leicester. Silva, I mean, it would be an insult that I talk about Silva, that, how such a great big player he is. So he's one of the main influences. If you see, he's one of the main John Terry-like quality that we were missing in the defense. So with his experience, I think, and the hunger that he would have, that, he's close to his retirement and he could not do it the last season, and now he has an opportunity. So I'm thinking his experience and his hunger is going to help us. Rodriguez, it's like Rodriguez's revival after Tuchel's arrival. He has been fabulous. He, especially when he wears that mask, okay, he becomes a different person altogether. If you think about the last match against Aston Villa, he had a pretty good fight as well. I think James, again, the reason I've chosen James is because James is a little, I'll be honest, he's a little weaker when it comes to the defensive qualities, but he has a pretty good mind to attack, to go ahead. But at the same time, he has the similar capability to come back, fall back as soon as there is an attack. So he's one of the main reasons that we were able to defeat Leicester in the Premier League match, because he made sure that, the front players of the opposite team, they do not get enough space, or there is someone to track back with them. So he's one of the reasons that I have over there. Gundogan, I will not lie, he had a pretty good season. Okay, his goals have been amazing.
Yeah.
And I think he deserves, regardless of the fact that it's my combined 11 or Tanmay's, or even if it's anyone's combined 11, I think he deserves to be in this team because his performance has been excellent. Kante, I mean, people don't realize, but he's one of the most humble guys. But the way he dominates in the field, is completely different. You will, I mean, I don't think if anyone meets Kante off the field would recognize that it's the same Kante. The dominance that he has in midfield is pretty awesome. He can track back, he can take the ball away from you. His tackles are pretty neat. He can go forward with the ball as well. He attracts a lot of different opposition defenders. He is the perfect midfielder for me. So Kante deserves to be there. Silva, he is one of the experienced players. That is one of the main reasons he is there on my team. But he's also one of the players who can create chances for the front players. So that I think that kind of answers the question. Mason Mount, because he is the Chelsea player of the season, so by default he deserves to be there on the team. I hope his finishing improves, and but at the same time he's created a lot of chances as well. So banging on that, I think Mason Mount deserves to be in the starting 11. Kai Havertz over Timo Werner. The only reason that has happened is because he also has a good amount of speed. His pace is good. His dribbling skills are pretty neat and excellent. For the last 2 to 3 matches that he had played, the tricks that he had, the dribbles that he had, the nutmegs that he's taken, I think he can be an influential player against Manchester City, because City also has a good defense. At the same time, his finishing is a lot better than any striker that we have right now. I mean, Tammy and Giroud have not been given enough chances, but the chances that have been given to Havertz, he's done a pretty good job. De Bruyne, he has a good knack, he has a good record against scoring against Chelsea. So that is one of the main reasons I have him there. I think this pretty much sums up the entire team that I have.
Yeah, and thanks for explaining your team, Ritesh. I'm
Sure.
sure Tanmay will have things to say about his team and yours as well. So before we get to the debate where we come up with a combined 11, Tanmay, why don't you explain to me why you've gone with your 11? Like Ritesh rightly mentioned, you also only have 3 Chelsea players. So why don't you tell me why you've picked this particular team?
Well, first of all, I have picked this team on the 2021 season that we was mentioned that how would the players have played this season. I think Ederson is overall a better goalkeeper than Mendy. Mendy is obviously, I'm not denying that Mendy he was really good this season, especially in that Real Madrid game. But I think Ederson is overall a very good keeper. People don't, rate him by his shot stopping. That is kind of very astonishing for me, because he's a very good shot stopper. Not like the way the prime David De Gea or Neuer or Oblak, the way they, of course, he's not that level, but still he's a very good shot stopper. So I've gone with Ederson. Right back, this is a kind of debatable one, where I think Joe Cancelo had a very good season for City. James had a really good season for Chelsea, but I think overall, when you want from a right back, attack, defense, the presence that you want, I think Kyle Walker gives you that. Kyle Walker is, I think, best defender, best right back out of the. I don't understand how don't you pick Diaz in the team. So Diaz has to go there. I don't understand how that happens. One debatable is, I don't have to explain more about Diaz, because the way this season that he had, he is the footballer writer player of the year, and hopefully he wins the PFA player of the year. Going for the second center back, it is debatable. I think I can put Thiago Silva in, but the way 2021 season has gone, Johnson has been really, really impressive this season. The way he has played, he was at one point 5th choice center back for us. Diaz, Laporte, Ake, Garcia, then 5th choice center back Stones. The way he fought, the competition that he had, and now I mean, Laporte is not starting. He was an unstoppable defender for us at one point. Now he is not starting in the team. So that is testament to Johnson this season. He really had a very good season. Chilwell, I think he's a better left back than Mendy. Mendy, I don't even rate Mendy because he is not good enough player. Zinchenko has been really good this season, but I will put a respect on his name. Chilwell is a very good left back, so he goes into my team. Kante, you don't have to speak much about it. The way Ritesh summed up about Kante, so he definitely goes in the team. Same about Gundogan. Mason Mount has been really, really well. To be honest, I didn't used to rate him at the start, but when I started watching him, the way that he played, the way he plays, the passion that he brings, even he has the quality, but the pressing, the way he takes the team ahead, that's very impressive for him. And the age, look at his age, he's so young and he's still doing so many things. Attack, I've gone for a City's false line, Mahrez, Foden, and De Bruyne, because the way we played against PSG, it was quite impressive. Even without a striker, the chances we created, and we were there in the box to convert those chances. I would have gone with one natural striker, but this is not good enough. Werner did not have one of the best season, and Aguero has had an injury split season, so he's not in the team. So yeah, I've gone with my front three. With De Bruyne, I don't have to say much. Mahrez has one of the best season, and Foden, I think he's gonna win the Young Player of the Year. So I don't have to talk much about it.
And now I'll obviously thanks for explaining, Tanmay. And now we'll come to your combined 11. So in the next slide, we'll have all your combined, the 4 players that you've had that are in the same spot. So you've got Chilwell, Gundogan, Kante, and De Bruyne. And now for the remaining 7 spots, you guys have to debate each other. So before you guys start, actually notice one thing. Both of you don't have Cesar Azpilicueta in your team, who I'm personally a big fan of. So, I mean, I'll ask you, Ritesh, why you didn't choose him as your right back. And same for you, Tanmay. I know Walker has been brilliant, like you said, but Azpilicueta brings a lot of experience. Do you not think he'd be a brilliant addition over Reece James, who's been playing right centre back in a back 3 at the minute?
I think if I had to choose the entire Chelsea team, I would have definitely gone with the Azpilicueta. No disrespect to him, I respect him a lot, but it's a final match wherein experience will definitely matter. But I will not deny that Manchester City has a good team wherein the players have also a good speed. Now, Azpilicueta's defensive sense is pretty awesome, but at this moment, Reece James would be a much better choice if he has to track back with that. Because if you're playing against a team like Manchester City, you have to be on your toes. So when I say you have to be on your toes, you have to be attacking and defensive at the very same time. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe he comes in the second half. Maybe he starts. He'll definitely start. I mean, in the start. But I think as I would prefer at this moment, Reece James over Azpilicueta.
Sure. Okay. So fair enough. And okay, let's start making this team now. That was just one personal question I had. Sorry, I digressed. But we'll come back to this. Edison and Mendy. Now, you guys have to both give me 3 points each why you'd pick one over the other. And then I'm apparently now have the power, hand of God, to decide who goes where. So, do you want to start us off, Ritesh, and tell me why Mendy and not Edison? Or would you be open to having Edison in the team?
I will not deny Anderson is a good goalkeeper, but I think Mendy deserves a chance to be in the final 11. Reason number 1 is because he has been excellent in this season. So if I talk about Edison, okay, he has a good experience, no doubt about it. Time and again, he's proven that he's one of the best goalkeepers in any league that he goes. But having said that, I think Mendy has the hunger more. Okay, he has more hunger in winning the Champions League rather than Edison. That is one of the main reasons that I'm going to choose Mendy over Edison. Second reason is even if Edison was not there in the goalkeeping section, okay, if it was a different goal, if you look at the Manchester City team, they have some pretty huge names. So they would have still gone ahead and, gone to the top 4 or win the Premier League or come to the Champions League final. But Mendy has played an important role. He's not just there to support the other players, but he himself is one of the important supporting roles. So I think that is the second reason that I would go with Mendy, because he's been the reason that Chelsea is there. He has the reason that he has stopped a lot of goals. That is the reason Chelsea is there in the top 4 and the Champions League final. And last and not the least, I think Mendy has the height advantage over Edison. And in a goalkeeper, that is always a plus point. So I think these are the 3 reasons I would go with Mendy rather than Edison.
Yeah, and I heard your points and I saw Tanmay's reaction, which is why I had a smile on my face when you first said the hunger and desire to win. Tanmay raised his hand. So Tanmay, why did you raise your hands to that point particularly?
I get what he's saying, hunger and desire, but how can you say that he has more hunger than Ederson? I don't understand. Like, how can you say that? Of course, we have spent more money on Ederson, so he came up with a pressure in this team. We replaced collaboration Joe Hart with Claudio Bravo, and he basically failed. And then we paid around 35-40 million for Ederson, and he came into this team, and he kind of settled really, really well. Look at he does not speak a language. He's from Brazil, who are used to the sunny weather. Manchester is kind of a very bad in terms of weather. So he settled really well in this team. Talking about Ederson overall, and I'll give you 3 reasons. First of all, the way the modern football has changed, you need a goalkeeper who is really good with feet. Of course, goalkeeper's main job is to save shots, so that's a different thing. But still, in the modern game, Ederson is I guess, is the best with his feet. again, Ter Stegen or some Manuel comes close to him. But with feet, Ederson is the best goalkeeper in the world, and you can see his influence in the game. You can see the assist to Gundogan in the Tottenham game. You can see the pass to Zinchenko in the PSG game. It is not like that he's just passing just short passes and just having the influence in the game. He's pinging it long, and those passes are resulting in goals. So his distribution is really good. People don't rate his second reason now. So people don't rate his shot stopping, which is kind of surprising for me because I think he's a good shot stopper. He's not, as I said earlier, he's not prime David De Gea level, not Neuer level. Of course, he has to reach that level. But when City win 4-0, City win 3-0, when City win those games, so we usually talk about the goal scorer. Okay, Gundogan scored 2 goals, Mahrez scored 2 goals, he had a really good game. But when the score is 0-0, when the score is 1-0, at that time, the crucial saves that Ederson has made, those saves kind of undergoes. People don't kind of rate those saves because City have won 4-0 final at the end. And the Champions League, when we look at against Borussia Mönchengladbach, they had 1-on-1. Ederson saved, they made a really good save against Dortmund also. So his shot stopping is really good. Third, I get that height advantage thing, but when you're talking about the hunger, I think Ederson has more hunger because we spent a lot more money on him. Man City has more pressure to deliver it, and plus he has talking about taking penalties, so he has already brought a pressure on himself, so there is more hunger from his side. So I think these are three reasons from my side.
I think the first and the third reason were kind of same, that he has more hunger.
Yeah,
you're still missing one.
My first reason is that he is a very good distributor. Second is that I think he's a very good shot stopper, and third is that he has a hunger too.
Yeah. So I mean, from a personal standpoint, I agree Edouard Mendy is a brilliant keeper, but for me, Ederson just wins on distribution and the fact that he won the Golden Glove. I think it's the second year running he's won it. So it's kind of hard to look past that for me. So I'll bring in Ederson as the goalkeeper. And so let's now move on to right back. Now this is going to be interesting. So Kyle Walker and Reece James. Tanmay, why don't you start us off this time? Why would you prefer Kyle Walker to a Reece James?
Before getting into the debate, I would like to add on the previous point of Azpilicueta. I think he's one of the best servant in the Premier League, best servant for Chelsea, and I like him as a player. He's a really good player. So I think, of course, it is very harsh for me to leave him out from this team. But as Ritesh mentioned about James, when we are talking about Azpilicueta, whatever he mentioned about James, everything applies to Kyle Walker. He tracks backs, he has pace, he's strong, and he has proved against Mbappe, he has proved against Neymar, he has proved against, he proved against kind of a brilliant player this season. Yeah, he kind of makes some few mistakes. I won't disagree to that. But when you want your right back to play in the final, the presence that Walker brings, I think it's better than Cancelo and James. And I'm not disregarding James. James had been brilliant this season. He was really good right back. But whatever points that Ritesh used for James, everything applies to Kyle Walker, and Kyle Walker has more experience. He has plenty of, so I will go with Kyle Walker.
Yeah, and Ritesh, what's your counterpoint to that? Why would you pick a Reece James over a Kyle Walker?
Well, Reece James is younger, and he has. I don't know the exact statistics, but I'm pretty sure that he has more pace than Kyle Walker. So if you're talking about the pace, he is definitely better than Kyle Walker, and he's by a few centimeters. He has an height advantage, and at the same time, he's lighter than Kyle Walker. So for a defender to track back and at the same time to stay strong. So if you've seen his recent matches, he has taken on a lot of big players and still stood his ground. He had taken over Jamie Vardy in the last Premier League match, and he made sure that, a player like Jamie Vardy, who is always bound to score, has not got the opportunity to go ahead and do this. So I think I'm going to go with Reece James at this moment. I mean, of course, it's going to come down to you again.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both your points. For me, one point that stood out was when Tanmay said that, Kyle Walker makes some mistakes. And that's one of the things I actually agree with. And that's why I'm leaning towards Reece James, because Kyle Walker makes those mistakes. And in the final, if you have a player who can make that mistake or concede a silly penalty, which he has done in the past. So
Agreed.
That's the reason I'm leaning towards Reece James. So I'll stick him in there. And now towards your two centre backs. Now this is where it gets interesting. I can't believe you don't have Ruben Diaz, Ritesh. Firstly, talk me through that. And then obviously, out of the 4 names in there, who would you be your 2 centre backs? And specifically why and how do you not have Ruben Diaz?
Yeah, I kind of thought about it when I was making the team to take Ruben Diaz, but I think it all comes down into whom I believe is going to play better in the squad. So Thiago Silva is gonna go in my team. There's no doubt about it. And Ruben Diaz, like you guys, both of you mentioned, he has a good performance. But I still believe that Rodrigo would be a better choice for Diaz. Uh, I'm not saying that Diaz may not have a good game or not, but I think Rodrigo is gonna be a much better defensive player at this for that last 90 minutes. Like I mentioned, it's going to come down to the last 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And Tanmay, your counterpoint to that and your two defenders that you would pick?
Of course, Ruben Diaz goes into my team. The influence that he had in this team, of course, yeah, you can say that he played with amazing players. That helps, but we were still piss poor last year defensively. We made very bad mistakes. Yeah, still Ederson won the Golden Glove, but still we made very poor mistakes. Otamendi made really poor mistakes. Stones was out of the team. We were defensively very all over the place. Ruben Diaz, he has influenced this team a lot. He's a captain, he's a leader. He has won the league, he has won the trophies for Benfica. He came as a captain this team. So the leader that we lacked after the company left. So he definitely goes into the team. Second, I think Thiago Silva is a better player than John Stones, definitely, because he has experience. He has done a lot in his career. But if you look at this season, I think Johnston has been really good. I think he has been really good. The decision making, the one issue that I had with Johnston was his decision making. He never knew when to tackle. He never knew when to fall back. He was like kind of making mistakes. This season, he has changed it a lot. His game has improved to the next level. He is now benching Aymeric Laporte. The guy who was getting benched by Eric Garcia is now benching Aymeric Laporte. That says a lot. Plus, he's scoring goals. He has scored a crucial goal for City. He has scored against Palace. He has scored against West Ham. The game we were drawing 1-1. At that time, he scored a goal. The game we were drawing 0-0 against Palace, he scored the first goal. So he has been really influential for this team. So in my team, this Diaz and Stones goes in my team.
Yeah, and for me, I'd say, I agree with both your points. Actually, all four of them have had really good seasons. Thiago Silva has to go in there, and so does Ruben Diaz, simply for me. The reason I say that is obviously, like both of you also rightly mentioned, Stones and Rudiger have had good seasons. But similar to Kyle Walker, I feel like both of them have a mistake in them, especially in a big game. I think I trust Ruben Diaz and Thiago Silva much more than the other two. So I'll stick them in there. And now coming to midfield, both of you had Gundogan and Kante. Great players, great seasons. So you don't have to discuss much on that. Interestingly, Tanmay, you had Mount in your middle three, and Ritesh, you had him in your front three. Now, that means both of you agree Mount should be in the 11. But Ritesh, you had Bernardo Silva in your midfield three, as compared to Tanmay having Mason Mount. Would you be open to having Mason Mount in the middle three and then turning it around in your front three a little bit?
No, I think he is good in middle. I mean, he's good wherever he plays. But this season, he has played up front a lot better than he has played in midfield. So I would still keep him in the front three. I wouldn't take him on the midfield role at this moment.
And why would you pick Bernardo Silva instead then?
Bernardo Silva, there's no specific reason for it. He's a good deliver of ball. But I think over the recent times, Mason Mount is much better than Bernardo Silva in the last season, in the current season, to be honest. So that is one of the main reasons I'm going to choose him there rather than I'm going to have him in the front.
Okay, Ritesh, interestingly also, you did not have Phil Foden in your lineup, who's scored in both the quarterfinals. Now, question to you, Foden also has played in the midfield three and in the front three this season. How can you not have Phil Foden above Bernardo Silva in your midfield three? Is just what I want to ask. Because that's where he played in the quarterfinals and got both his goals.
There's no specific reason for it. I agree. Like I mentioned earlier with Diaz, I was kind of in a mixed thought when I was choosing the team. I wanted to have Foden, but at that point I could not think. I don't think I would prefer Bernardo Silva or Foden in that particular game, because this is a Champions League game. It's going to be a huge pressure on every player that is going to play. And Foden is one of those players who had featured when we met them the last few times, and they lost. So it's one of the main reasons I've not taken Foden. He had opportunities as well, but
Yeah, fair. Okay, that's fair enough. And Tanmay, who would you go in your midfield? Would you go with Mason Mount, Phil Foden, or Bernardo Silva?
To be honest, I wanted Bernardo Silva in this team, but it would have been unfair on Mason Mount the season that he had, because I'm not going to change my front three. My front three is kind of it explains itself. So you have to put Mason Mount in the team. So there was only one slot in left, so I put him in the midfield. Of course, it is difficult to leave out a player like Bernardo Silva and the impact that he has in the team, especially when Kevin De Bruyne was injured those Jan-Feb months. So he was really brilliant for us. But it is kind of unfair to take out Mason Mount out of this team. So I'm definitely going to put Mason Mount. And are we going to front three? So if you're talking midfield, I'll put Mount in the midfield.
Want to say that for me as well, Ritesh, I think you mentioned at the start of the video that Mason Mount still needs to work on his finishing. And I agree with you there. So I'll stick Mason Mount in the midfield three because he's so good at creating chances. Because I think they're better finishers ahead coming up. So I would stick him in the middle three. And I think that makes a really balanced midfield as well. So now moving on to the front three, you both had De Bruyne already in there, obviously. So he has to go in. He's one of the best players in the world. How can he not? He has to. But this time, Tanmay, why don't you tell me who are the other two players you would go in with from the remaining players? Edouard Mendy, does he make your front three?
Edouard Mendy. Yeah. Actually, Edouard Mendy has more chances to get in the team than Ben Mendy. I'll say that. But still, okay. I don't see how Mahrez and Foden does not feature in that front three. I don't see. I don't see the case for Havertz. I don't see the case for Pulisic. I don't see the case for Werner too, because Mahrez has scored in the 3 Champions League game in a running. He scored in semi-final both legs. He scored in the quarter-final. Foden has been brilliant in the both games against Dortmund. He was not good till that time we scored 1-1 in the PSG game. He was kind of having a not having great. He was not having a bad game, but he was not even having a great game till 1-1. After 1-1, he was brilliant against PSG. In the second leg, he was brilliant. And you have seen in the Premier League this season, in the big games, the way Foden has played again at Anfield, that goal against Arsenal, against Spurs, the way he has played, I don't see how you cannot take Phil Foden in the team. And as Ritesh used the point for Mason Mount that we need experience in the Champions League. Real Madrid has scored in the last 3 rounds, so I don't think how can Havertz or Ziyech get in front of him. I don't get me wrong that they are still a good player, they are wonderful players, but I don't see how any Chelsea player get in front of Foden or Real Madrid in this team. I don't see any.
Ritesh, do you have anything to say or any counterpoints that you want to make to this?
I don't have any much counterpoints because like I mentioned for Diaz, I told you already that Foden was one of the players that I had in my mind to go ahead and get added in the team. So I would be open to take Foden in my front three because honestly I don't have much option with Chelsea team right now. It's only a defender, a forward, and one goalkeeper. So I would be open to take Foden, surely, definitely. But I think Mahrez. He's a good player. There is no doubt about it. He has some pretty good matches, but at the same time, he had some bad decisions as well when it comes to his finishing. Okay, he's a good finisher. I'm not questioning that. He's proven it also. But a few games wherein he could have scored, he has not scored. That's one of the main reasons. And we are talking about the final 90 minutes of Champions League. And I would definitely prefer an experienced player like Havertz. So Havertz has not showed his value with Chelsea at this moment, but he has already proven that he's one of the best players in the world. The price tag itself says the stats that he had with his previous team. But if you look at his recent games, the way he is creating chances, the way he is, the right word for Havertz is not the speed, the way he glides. The way he glides through the defenders, the way he smoothly finishes. If you look at his finishes, the recent finishes that he had, they were pretty, it was like, it's like butter. It was very smooth. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Havertz and I'm open to take Foden, but not anyone. I'm not Mahrez at this moment.
Okay, so let's pull Phil Foden in there at least. Mm-hmm. And for the last spot, so there is Mahrez, Havertz, and I'd say Bernardo Silva to an extent has to be one of those players. It's difficult because I don't want to be making this decision.
To be honest, I like to add one point. Like, Havertz is a good player, but he's been he's been in the list of one of the flops of the season. He hasn't lived up to this price. He hasn't lived up to his the way he performed in Bayer Leverkusen. Of course, he has a very good future. I still like the player. I think he's a wonderful player. But I don't see how he gets in front of Mahrez, because the guy who has scored against PSG in both the legs, and as Ritesh just mentioned, that you need the scorer in the Champions League game, and I don't see how Havertz can get in front of Mahrez.
Yeah, and lastly, I'll just say I agree with you. Havertz last few weeks has been brilliant, but unfortunately, we're picking a team based on an entire season. And this season, Mahrez has got 14 goals and 6 assists, and Havertz has got 4 goals and 3 assists. I know football is not just numbers, but I feel like I have to go with
Mahrez has 4 goals in his last 3 Champions League games.
Yeah,
there is the
let's
answer.
go with Mahrez, which means that this is our final 11. Chelsea dominate defense and midfield, and Manchester City dominate the attack. Will that be the case in this game? Only time will tell. I don't know what you guys think of this team, and whoever's watching, please let us know in the comments if you'd make any changes to this team or you guys agree on this. I know you're very upset, Ritesh and Tanmay, you couldn't have more of your players in the team, but I feel like this is a pretty balanced side from both teams, 6 from one and 5 from the other. And I think y'all can both be slightly happy with what you've got now with this team. What do you guys think?
I think it's a fair, balanced team, to be honest. I mean, of course, I would have loved more Chelsea players. But then, no disrespect to any other team as well. They're pretty good players. They're pretty nice players from Manchester City as well. And a lot of different players from Chelsea would also have deserved. But like you mentioned, unfortunately, the numbers are not supporting us right now. But only time will tell who will win the Champions League. So I'm going to come back to you on this definitely in the comment section. Once you win the Champions League, I'm going to tag you. I'm going to tag Tanmay.
It's got nothing to do with me. I'm
can.
just being a neutral here. Don't drag me into this. You tag Tanmay as much as you want.
No, see, all 3 of us are a part of this conversation, right? I'm going to drag anyone and everyone who's going to listen to it. So you're going to be a part of it, my friend.
No, of course.
Yeah.
No, but I thank you both for taking time out and joining me for this conversation. I really appreciate your time. And I hope both of you have a great final. Ritesh has already got his bragging rights going.
I don't need to brag.
Tanmay, I think Tanmay is superstitious. He's just not even predicted a proper scoreline. He just said we'll win, hopefully. He's riding on the fence.
I trust my players.
His confidence. I'm a big fan of it. So, but yeah, thank you both for joining me. I hope you guys enjoy the final quite a bit. And I look forward to you guys commenting after the final. And I'll speak to you soon. So thank you.
Sure, definitely.